There we go. Hi, welcome, Jane. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited to dig in and share with you or talk with you about your experience inside the Anchored Abstinence Recipe Program today. For our listeners, her real name is not Jane. However, if you've been in my world for any amount of time, you know that our clients' privacy is of our utmost importance to us. So we do change everyone's name, whether it be in text, context, or interviews, to Jane, just to have everyone feeling a little bit more comfortable with all the material that we're going to cover in any situation like today. So again, thank you. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm really good today. Thank you.
Fantastic. I know you just celebrated a big birthday, so thank you for being here. That's always a nice thing to be able to celebrate. I just have a few questions for you, Jane, here to go over. I know you're a very recent graduate of the program, and I really appreciate that you've decided to take this opportunity to share your experience with myself and, of course, all the other women out there who may be wondering whether or not the Anchored Abstinence Recipe is a good choice for them, and just to be able to share a little bit more about how you took part in the program, the benefits that you received, and of course, your expectations and ultimately your results, because that's the important thing here today. So, again, thank you. I know it's no small commitment to do this, and I absolutely, truly, deeply appreciate your time and your willingness to be here. So, thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, so let's just really start with I have a list of questions here to ask as we go through. So I'm just going to start with some really high level questions to help kind of frame for the audience here today where you were before you joined us, where you were along your journey, your path in your life, where alcohol consumption was a part of it. So can you share with us, where did you come from? Where were you at when you enrolled in the program?
Okay. I can share that it's probably 3 years ago. Well, I'd say 4 to 5 years ago, I knew within myself that my drinking was a problem or becoming a problem and becoming a bigger problem, and thought I really should try and do something about this. And I was doing a little bit of research on my own by myself, um, reading books and podcasts and things like that to try and motivate me and help me discover how I could change my relationship with alcohol. And then 3 years ago, it was very slow and not working very well for those 1 to 2 years. So 1 to 2 years into it, my work colleagues kind of confronted me, had an intervention, if you call it that, where they said they were noticing that I was drinking too much and they weren't happy with it, and um, wanted to support me in making a big change in my life. And so that was a big kick in the pants for me and pushed me to do more. And I was doing more through other programs, more online stuff, and the 30-day alcohol sort of challenges, alcohol-free challenges, and all those other kinds of ones, trying those and getting more success than I was having prior to the kick in the pants, if I can call it that. But still not that great. Still, it was better, definitely on the path, but really, really slow improvement. And still some slip backs and struggles that did not feel good to me in my heart. Um, I had started another program that allowed more um, like community support, because I think I was trying to do it alone and in secret and by myself, by myself, by myself. And I've come to realize now, I don't think this is something you can get out of all alone by yourself in secret. You really do need connection, and you need community and that kind of human to human support. And I was getting that through the other program that I was, and it was again slow, but definite, always forward moving, 1% improvement at a time. I learned through that program a little bit about, I think some people call it alcohol biotype, and that really there can be a physiologic, nutritional hormonal component to all of this, which is maybe half the battle is psychological and mental, but there's a huge physical side. And if you're not addressing that huge physical side, it's like pushing a rock up a hill and it's always going to keep rolling back down. And I was learning a little bit about that, but I didn't have a big grasp or a lot of knowledge about it. I was trying to gather more knowledge. And then I stumbled upon your program, which was just like, well, there's a golden nugget of tons of information already laid out for me that I don't have to try and create the wheel that's already been created, or recreate the wheel, I guess is the words. So that's where I was. That's where I was. Does that?
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. A great amount of detail and understanding, and not uncommon for a lot of the women who start the program, right? They've tried other things, the more mainstream type approaches. And like you said, a lot of it deals with the psychology, but not the physiology. So at that point, before you joined, what did you feel was kind of the biggest thing? What was the biggest roadblock that you were trying to overcome?
I think it was still a strong desire to drink. Or like it wasn't a habit anymore. I think I'd broken the habit, but I still had this gnawing wish or desire. Like I just wanted it, like a craving. And that's so that it was be a go-to, like a crutch that I would use if I was stressed or if I was in pain, or certainly to cut loose and relax and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
As a tool to get those other goals.
And part of, you had mentioned the pain, just for our listeners, part of the issue was that you do suffer with chronic pain, correct? So something that really was not going anywhere, and certainly much deeper than perhaps the psychological element. So thank you. When you first enrolled in the program, what were your goals? I know we had a lengthy conversation before you enrolled, and I know that you shared with me some things that you would like to get out of it, that you were hoping for. What do you feel were your goals throughout the program?
Where I could be back to where I was many years ago, where alcohol could be a take it or leave it kind of thing in my life, that I didn't really have it controlling my life or it controlling me, that I had control over it, that I would only drink on special occasions, like maybe on a holiday or vacation time. And otherwise I wouldn't drink. That was my goal.
Fantastic. What reservations did you have? Have you actually hired anybody? I know there's a lot of free things available online these days. Had you hired somebody else in the past? And can you share what that experience was?
Some of the programs that I engaged in, I did pay a membership fee or a subscription fee for. And then there were some add-ons where you could get coaching and things like that for more fee. I forgot now the question.
No worries. What were your goals when you were hiring us, for example? When you had said that, you wanted to be able to take it or leave it, did you have any reservations? Because you had those past experience where you did put money out to these to other groups and so forth, or other organizations. Did you have any reservations about?
Yeah, I'll tell you honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
It's when you hear the information from you, like you will not want alcohol again, guaranteed, you're going to change completely. I'm like, okay, this seems like too good to be true or too big to be real. Like, I can't buy this. I can't believe this. This seems like it's not really going to work. It might work, it might help, but it's not going to do all of that. And of course I had to bring it to my husband because it's a pretty good investment and I didn't want to just do it without telling him about it. So I'm like, I got to tell you about this. And I think a good selling feature for me and for him was that as I could share with him, like there's a money back guarantee, like, that she's so confident that I will meet my goals, that I'll even get this money back if it doesn't work for me. That seems like a hoax too, but it wasn't. And when it came to the time that I could have chosen to determine if it was working for me or not. By then I knew it was working for me, and I've gotten my money's worth out of it and did not need or want that expense returned to me.
That's amazing. And it's so true, isn't it? We do have these reservations when we don't see what's on the other side. And we've had so many less than successful experiences that really had momentum, got us through, made significant improvements and big leaps. We have to move cautiously, right? There is no doubt about that. This is not a light program. You invest a great deal of your mental bandwidth and energy into the program. So absolutely, I'm glad that you were cautious moving forward and that, you didn't take upon it lightly. And I do share with everybody when we have those conversations, is I guarantee once you take alcohol out of your life, every single thing is going to change. And I don't think anybody truly appreciates the profoundness of that statement, right? But I was just speaking with another client the other day, and she's like, I get it. You're right. Absolutely. Everything in my life has changed for the better. And it does. So thank you. I really do appreciate your honesty. Go ahead. Did you want to share something,
I remember
Jade?
in the beginning too, you might remember, I thought, because partway through the program, I was going to go on a big trip with one of my daughters, and the trip would involve like these wine tours and things like that. So I thought, well, Angelina, can I just start the program, like do a month of it, take a month off, do this time, and then go back on the program and do the next couple of months? And you were like, well, you shouldn't, but you do what you want. And again, once I got to the end of that first month, I didn't even need or want to. I just carried through with the program because I could see that it was working.
Oh,
My vision of it before I started was different than once I was actually in it.
That's fantastic. I love that you were able to do that. And that's what we do offer, right? We do offer a lot of flexibility because there are vacations. There are things that we take us away out of our normal routine. We're great when we're in a routine, right? A lot of us can be really structured, stick to the plan, stick to the to the meals and so forth, but we need to have that flexibility when we do have, maybe a vacation, we have to go away, and maybe we're grieving, there's a death in the family, all of these things that life has to throw at us, and we have to be able to navigate those and maintain our progress and not slide back. And that's one of the, as you had mentioned, one of the really critical elements about this is you're continually making progress, so there isn't that backslide option for you. Thank you. So what made the program, the Anchored Abstinence Recipe Program, the best fit for you? I know there's obviously not a significant other amount of other programs out there that deal specifically with the health, the physical health, the neurochemistry of alcohol use, but I'm sure you did a little bit of research. What made you choose us over other programs that were out there?
I think that it was laid out like basically week by week and day by day, that it was already structured for me. I just had to follow the steps. The community support, like having the Facebook group and then the weekly calls, 2 calls, like a live session with you or with the other people that you work with, like the other experts, and then the weekly check-in one-to-one calls. That felt like an added bonus, that there'd be a lot of hand-holding going on throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not like you had mentioned, right? This is not something that you want to go alone. And we know from our experience with other clients as well that it's really important to have that. And how did you feel about the flexibility in that? Was that something that you found that you took advantage of?
What part of flexibility?
In terms of being able to book your own calls, was that something that ended up being really of value to you, to be able to work things around? You're not relying on our schedule, more so your schedule?
Definitely. That was where I saw that happen a lot. Was I had looked at it each passage as a week, because basically there's 7 days of recipes and meals in the meal planning. And so 1 week, 1 passage. And so in 12 weeks, I'll be through this whole program. And it took me longer than 12 weeks. I don't recall exactly how long, but another month or so more. Because sometimes a week I wouldn't be done all those meals or all those recipes. It might stretch out to 9 or 10 days for me to get through all the meals and the recipes. So I wouldn't be starting the next passage in exactly a week. It might be a week and a half or even 2 weeks in one passage before I'd be ready to move on to the next because of life coming up. Things happen.
Yeah. And with that, like, when did you start noticing that there was noticeable changes in your thoughts, your notions, any, inklings for wine? You had mentioned that by the time you were a month in, but do you recall what it is that you started to experience that kind of gave you the inclination that you actually had this, you were making significant strides?
Yeah, I could say for me in the beginning, and I wish I had thought of this ages ago, like I've always been someone who I'm so strict with my diet. When I make a decision to be vegan, I will be the best vegan. And when I decide to be keto, I'm going to be the best keto, and I don't touch anything that's not on the list. And so if I'd only ever before thought to put alcohol as something there, I could do it. And so initially I was riding on that, but that doesn't last forever with alcohol. So I think, when did it start to really change, like my mindset towards alcohol? Because there's a weekly, well, not weekly, but at the end of every passage, you evaluate the submission, post passage submission, and on a scale of 1 to 10, where were my alcohol cravings? And even from the get-go, they were pretty low. They were like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and then they were 2, and then they were 1 to 2, and then they were 1. But they went from 3 to 2 pretty quickly. And I don't remember how long it took to go from 2 to 1. I don't think it ever got to 0, but that might be because like there's any inkling for wine, like it passed my mind, or I thought, oh yeah, maybe, oh, well, I can't because it's not on my menu list. And in a few more weeks, maybe I can, but not this week, not this week. I got down to 1, but I was starting in a low place to begin with, I think, because of all the pre-work I had done with other programs, which I say it really did get me so far, but it was this last physical side that had not been addressed yet. Which I wonder too, if you do that first, how much easier the mental side would be. I don't know, because I did it the opposite way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we don't live in parts, right? We are, all of us, we are very a holistic type of person. So doing it all together is really the magic, right? We have to balance everything and make the changes both psychologically and emotionally and physically all at the same time to have those big, big shifts. So how about now? What's happening for you now? Where do you feel you are in terms of your notions or thoughts or desires for alcohol?
Yeah, they're very low. And this is the tricky thing, because I think I had got it in my mind thinking, when this is all over, when I've graduated from the program, I can test it. I can try. I can see if it still has a hold on me, which I think is a silly game to play. I don't know why you would do that to yourself. If you're happy where you are, why would you tinker with it? Why would you play with fire? I don't know. But as you mentioned, I had a big birthday this weekend. And so I did plan to let myself, sounds funny, even that language, let myself drink. And I had a plan in place, how much, when I would start, when I would stop, because I've learned through this program, that's a good thing to have. And then if I changed my plan, to document and write down, why did I change my plan? Especially if the plan was I intended to drink and then I chose not to. And so I did intend to, and I tried it and I didn't like it. Dave tasted it and it tasted horrible. And then I put that one down and I didn't have any more. And it was a whole weekend of celebrating. And by the, third and fourth night, it's like, I'm just happy to be without it and enjoy the good fun times, and didn't really need it or want it, and didn't really crave it either. Other people were drinking and I was happy without it.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's no small achievement at all. And I'm really glad that you did, take the opportunity to kind of test the waters again, because it's nice to know how confident we really are in our decisions, right? It's not something that's controlling us. We are actually deciding whether or not we want to take that into our body. And like your experience, it just didn't really taste very well anymore. And that's a big component of it. So thank you.
It
And
felt like I was gonna drink poison. Like, it felt like this is horrible stuff. Don't want it. Not even just the bad taste of it. It was just like, it feels like it's not good for me. Yeah. I
such
don't
a
know.
big shift. Such a big shift. So what are your plans for the future? Do you think, moving forward, where will you go with your alcohol consumption?
Yeah, I don't still yet know for sure, to be completely honest. I know if anything, it would be maybe what I started with, my initial goal. Like, if I'm on a vacation or it's New Year's Eve and everyone's having a glass of champagne, something, or a toast at a wedding. But it might even be less than that now, because I feel like, yeah, just, yeah.
Yeah.
Not clearly delineated for myself in concrete language what are my goals now. I suspect, though, it's even less than my initial goal was.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's amazing. What a remarkable transformation,
I
right?
felt
From
my
going
original,
to where it's like, oh, I just need this out of my diet, and it's got a grip on me that's clearly very problematic, right? In a lot of ways. To I've got the upper hand. I can make the choices.
I'm
I
in the
am in
driver's seat.
control.
Yep.
Good place to be.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
you know what? At first it was like, I've made this analogy. I'm in the driver's seat instead of alcohol. And then alcohol was sort of in the passenger seat, and then it was in the back seat. And now I've just kicked it out of my car and it's on the else, like, and I'm long gone driving around.
That's amazing. So
You know,
much to look
still in
forward
your
to.
passenger seat or in the back seat, it's still barking at you, it's niggling, and you're like, okay, shut up, shut up. But it's still there. And now it's just, you don't even think it's possible before you start this, that, oh God, could never happen with me. Never. It's pretty awesome. I wish everyone could know that it is possible. I thought it was impossible. I thought it could never be like that.
Yeah, we really do end up redefining ourselves, which kind of leads me to my next and last question. What would you say to anybody else thinking about this program?
I think it's an awesome idea. Well, and as far as I've looked around and seen, it's the only one that really addresses the chemical, physical, biological so thoroughly that I don't like. And if it is half the battle, you're going to keep, if you don't address this, you'll get some success, but it'll be harder to get perfect success. Perfect success is a word? I don't think so, but you won't get as much success.
You won't necessarily land where you want to land.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you might always then have it still in the car with you, barking and making noise. Yeah.
I love that analogy. That's so true, right? It's even if it's in the trunk, it's still there whispering away. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jane. Is there anything else that you would like to add to our discussion today? I just love your ability to be very forthcoming, your experience, and just really laying it out the way it was for you. Anything that you think would be important to other listeners out there
Yeah,
about
this just
learning?
popped into my head, but I think, I mean, the alcohol was one thing and this got addressed, but I also learned so much more about my health and how my body works and how nutrition and food in my life works, how physical activity impacts and works with or against all those other things, or all those things work against me. And it's opened many doors to now keep going forward and working on other issues. Like, we've determined or figured out that, okay, I've dealt with the alcohol thing, and through nutrition, that's been key. what else can I use nutrition to fix in my life? Other things like my chronic pain or my thyroid issue or anything else. So that was like added bonus that while it started all alcohol, I've learned a lot more that I can take forward into other areas of my life that don't even remotely are attached to the alcohol issue.
Fantastic. That's such a huge win, right? We're not only putting this element behind us, but we're taking from it, moving forward. And like you said, to improve other aspects of your health is just fantastic, because when it comes down to it, our health is our absolute greatest wealth. There's nothing else more valuable to us, right? So the fact that you are now more empowered not only to look at alcohol in a completely different light, but you're also in a position to be able to take care of some underlying health issues that really do need to be addressed. And now you have the skill, the understanding of what needs to happen alongside of nutrition to really maximize your health benefits going forward, right? So important. Fantastic. Absolutely love it.
I learned a lot.
Oh, wonderful. It was an absolute pleasure to have you in the program. I'm so grateful that you're going to be hanging out with us as an alumni member. I know your experience is going to be so, so valuable to all the women that come after you. And we're always going to be cheering you on towards all of your health goals in this regard. So thank you so much, Jane, again, for your time here today. I can't wait to see you inside of the group. So until then, have a great rest of your day, and thank you again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye for now.
Bye.